Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Ironheart, issue number 2. This is a fun little comic book, man. Ain't like, a million things going on. Like, it's not, there's action, but not a whole lot of action. What there is, however, is stuff to think about. And I enjoy that, especially in a Riri Williams book. Let's start reading. All right, so Riri Williams, Ironheart, Eve L. Ewing on writing, Luciano Vecchio on art, Jeffo on layouts, Matt Mila is the color artist, and VC's Clayton Cowles does letters and production. Amy Reeder may or may not have done the cover. I'm assured that she has indeed done the cover. All right, so we actually get a little bit of a flashback situation where way back in the day, little Riri, she's trying to do her thing. She's trying to open up the school locker, and here's like a super genius who just can't open a school locker. I thought that was actually kind of cute because she's really smart, she's a genius, but she hasn't actually studied engineering yet. So she doesn't understand the idea of shotgunning method to understand what's broke. You know what I'm saying? Why isn't this thing working? Like, she's breaking the thing down and just like, okay, so I know this part and this part and this part interfaces with that part and this part connects with that part and all these parts should work. Yes, now ask yourself, why is it not working? It's like just knowing all the parts and how they're supposed to work doesn't mean that you're going to be able to just will the thing to work. You're not actually a Jedi. So I dug that. I genuinely, I know it's just such a little thing, but I felt so good about the character and the direction of this comic book after I read that part, because guess what? She's still human. That's cool. That's cool. All right. So I also found it a little bit disturbing when the one guy goes and calls her Shorty, because y'all know what shorty actually means, right? And I did have a bit of a problem with the language in here once in a while. At one point, somebody says, ain't gonna. Yeah, ain't gonna. Ain't going to. Ain't going to. I was a little bit perturbed by that. Because if you're going to say ain't going to, you're going to drop the going and bring it into a going. Like you're gonna drop the G and add an apostrophe all after that N. Ain't gonna. You can't say ain't going. It just doesn't work. Ain't gonna, right? And you could take it to the extreme and just ain't going out like that. Ain't going out like that. Ain't going out. And if you know who sings that song without looking in the Google and all that stuff, yeah. Brownie points to you. Okay, moving on. Riri does get a little bit of action, but she freezes up under gunfire. Now, I'm a little bit bothered by the idea that the armor was able to be jacked up by the guns. Do they actually go into what kind of guns these are? They look like AK-47s. So actually, there's a whole bunch of different guns on here. Anyway, the main one up on top looks like an AK-47. The other ones look like, I guess this is an AR-15, and this one over here must be an M16. And let me tell you something. Just the fact that they got these in there, and I can look at these and potentially recognize what they are. I could be wrong, because they're just silhouettes. But just the idea they did the silhouettes so well, I'm pretty impressed. Good job on art. Just saying. Good job on art. So anyway, they shoot her up, and she just freezes under the gunfire. When you think about it, and I'm not going to sit there and go back and check out every single one of these freaking issues that she's ever been in, but it makes sense that Riri would actually potentially freeze under gunfire, because you think about how she lost her stepfather and her best friend. Yeah, I know, right? So, yeah, this is, I don't know, man. I like these little things. It's like the comic book itself is pretty cool, but the things that really make the comic book are these little tiny things that show the kink or the kinks, pluralize it, in Riri's armor, because she does have some. She is young. She should definitely have some. And I like the way that they're being expressed. I also kind of want to punch this MIT director in the face, because I remember him talking about he's going to be a good guy at one point. But no, doesn't seem to be that way to me at all. Also, point of contention, I don't think that people from other companies would come over and actually be dumb enough to use the wireless internet that is available from the company that they're in. I'm just saying, because it is true that you could spy on people like that. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. Just saying. I remember always being told, make sure that you don't use the local Wi-Fi. Make sure you're using your own data when you're going into a place like this. So that's just, it's silly to me, man. But whatever. They lost their information. All that stuff was deleted because they were hacked. Psh, sometimes, man, look out for yourself. Don't know what to tell you. Yeah. So I don't even know what to expect from the next issue necessarily, because this isn't the kind of book that's written to be, how do I explain this? It's not written in a way that you seem to need to have read the issue before in order to understand what's going on in the current issue. I feel like this could have been the issue one also, you know? And I'd actually be okay if every book were written like that. If every book were written almost as a self-contained story that may or may not have happened before the issue before. It's just one of those things. So this way, it's a nice, smooth book. It doesn't have to be rough. It doesn't have to be rough around the edges. It doesn't have to be fast-paced. It doesn't have to be slow. It just has to, each individual, feel like a complete issue. I like that. And if that's the way that Miss Ewing is going to go, I'm down with reading that too. Anyway, guys, nothing really negative to comment on in this. It's just literally, it's just a straightforward story presented silver platter, but Dow, read away. And oh yes, I shall. All right, guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, class dismissed.